Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Check out the video game industry in a whole new way, from beginning to end. We last left off with Beer Run. I really want to know if someone played this in college because it didn't even seem like a real game at first. But our last release was in July of 1981, so let's see what our next game is after Beer Run. Looks like we have another game for the Apple II. This is Computer Baseball. This looks like a very technical version of baseball. Let's take a look at the artwork for Computer Baseball. There's the front of the box. Oh, this is by SSI, Strategic Simulations Incorporated. The last time we saw them, they were doing strategy games for the Apple II. Very good ones, complicated ones based on board games. Yeah, strategy game of America's national pastime. So it's a computer baseball strategy game. And just checking out some of the artwork for the front of the box. Do we have anything else to show? A mock-up, not even the real 5 1/4 disc, and then an example of the screenshot. So it may just be menus from the Apple II. And for different versions, looked like we got an original and a cracked version. We're probably going to be playing the cracked version. So this is released at some point in July of 1981. Computer Baseball for the Apple II. I'm going to go ahead and speed this one up so we can get through the loading process. We're going to 600 speed faster. There we go. Do we want to play a game against the computer, a two-player game, enter data for a new team, review and update data for an existing team? Oh, very good. So this looks like one of the games you used to play with the computers in the 60s that used punch cards, where whenever you wanted to program in a baseball game or a team, you programmed it onto punch cards, you input it into the computer, and then the computer would print out or deliver what was happening in the game as you played it. But this one's much more technical on a personal computer. So for this one, let's check out the demonstration game. So they'll play it for us rather than us play against the computer, because this is a strategy game where you're going to be making decisions. All right, so we're going to do demonstration game, and then again, we're going to speed this sucker up, going all the way to 600%. There we go. We're not getting the actual 1981 experience because this is one of those games that would take a very long time. So it's loading the two teams, picking the pitchers, batters, and you have a lot of different selections. It looks like you can pick using the numbers on the left side for who you want to go with. And it has the Royals. Wait a second, they're using Phillies and Royals. And we kind of went quick through the load, but I'd love to know if were those the actual names? Like there wasn't anything on the box that said MLB license for the baseball teams. But here we go. This is the main game. It shows a view of the entire field, top half of inning number 1. And then it shows who's on deck, the pitcher, and who's in the bullpen. And there we go. We got the graphics on the screen just to the left of me of what it would look like to play Computer Baseball by SSI. And yep, it's going through the process. So you can see the pitcher throws the ball, and then we have someone, yep, that made it, got a triple. And it's not acting out in real time. It's doing it based on the stats of the pitcher. So it's, when the pitcher throws, it depends on, they compare the stats of the pitcher compared to the stats of the person that's batting, and then that determines the outcome of what's going to happen on the screen. So there is no action. It's literally you're making the decisions, and then you're having it play out in front of you. There's not any true like action baseball that we'd be used to seeing. But that's how you play computer baseball. So a more technical look at it, and kind of an homage to what they used to play in the 60s for mainframe computers with some graphics. So that's actually pretty cool. I was expecting only text, but this has a graphic playing out what's happening. When you used to play this back on the punch cards or the printouts, they would just print out and tell you what was happening for the baseball game. And I was expecting text to scroll across this game, but no, we actually have some graphics showing the baseball game being played. So really cool. Another one of those games that's really difficult to just give a quick perspective of what it would be like to play. But we did get some gameplay, and of course, right now the computer's playing itself, and you can play against the computer and make the decisions you would want to have. So cool. Okay, so that was a strategic baseball game And for the time, it still is something that, compared to the other action games and arcade video games we've seen, it'd be a class that if you wanted to get in this kind of field or play that way, almost like whenever you see a soccer game, that you're actually moving around the field as players, or there's the manager video games where you're not really playing on the field, you're making the decisions as the manager. This is like the precursor of those kinds of games. So for the time, it's kind of a difficult rating because it's really niche at this point. There would be a few people that would be into this kind of game for the Apple II, or even the original, the way it's doing the homage to the old style. So it's not the typical baseball game we had seen for the home computer, but it is adding the stats and information that Accolade and some of the other big companies are going to do to push how good baseball games can be. All right, so for this one, we're going to go with I'm going to just do 2.5 stars, which is still around the average range, but still not as technically impressive. And it's a different kind of experience, not really something that would be the best thing you could play at the time for the Apple II. All right, so after Computer Baseball by SSI, our next one is, this is the latest issue of BYTE magazine. Let's take a look at BYTE, which means we must be in August of 1981. As usual, the BYTE magazine is a journal that is hundreds of pages long, so we're not going to be going through this as like a let's read. It's more of we're going to take a look at the front and then table of contents to see what topics they bring up in August of 1981. So here we go, the Small Systems Journal, and we have a giant hot air balloon that says Small Talk on it. Oh, yes. Okay, so they're probably going to discuss small talk in this issue. And we have the usual ads we've seen from BYTE in the front of the magazine. So scrolling down past all the ads. Yes, we want Fortran, we know. And then here we go for the table of contents. It looks like, yes, it's introducing the Smalltalk 80 system. So in 1981, Smalltalk was one of the first object-oriented programming languages you could use. And so this issue is going to really hit hard on object-oriented programming. So for anyone that's not super technical, object-oriented programming is what was the big basis for Microsoft Windows. So what we know of now as Windows, because there's only the two big PCs right now are Mac and PC. And so I know Linux also is there as well. But back then, there wasn't any other like standards. We're kind of in the wild west of computers, and Smalltalk was a really big push for object-oriented programming that we would know now as Windows. So this is way before that. This is a very early look at object-oriented programming. So we have a few different topics that they're going to discuss. The Smalltalk 80 system, which was by Xerox. It was meant to be something for educational purposes. And then we also have how to build a Z8-based control computer with BASIC Part 2. Okay, so it's the same processor that's used in the ZX80 and 81, which we should be seeing sometime when we look at the rest of the releases for 1981. Those two computers are in England right now. All right, so object-oriented software systems is another one where they talk about, and then the Smalltalk environment. Yeah, they're really hitting on Smalltalk in this issue. It was big for the time, revolutionary for how you could program for computers. And then we also have Smalltalk graphics kernel by Daniel H. Ingalls. And then here we go, this one. On page 200, the Japanese computer invasion. Like it or not, the Japanese small computers are on their way. And he makes it sound like it's not a good thing, like it or not. This one is pretty cool because the newest Japanese home computers are on the market right now in Japan. And we haven't seen them yet because there's not as many games for them. And the games that are there, we don't really know exactly when they were released. So we'll see them when we check out all the releases at some point in 1981. But I wanted to bring to light for the channel, this is really cool what we're going to do. Whenever it comes to anything that's released in Japan, Japanese computers or Japanese home consoles, I'm going to be separating the release based on what's different between North America. So for example, when we finally get to the release of the Super Famicom in 1983, we're going to see all the releases of the Super Famicom games, and then when the Nintendo Entertainment System, which is it's the same system, just released in 2 different regions, when the Nintendo Entertainment System is released, we'll see the releases of the North American release at the same time of what's released in Japan. So I'll be separating the two, similar to how we did with the Magnavox Odyssey 2 and the Philips Video Pack. It's essentially the same system, but with 2 different regions. But we're seeing the same games or similar games, but for both regions. So we'll do the same thing for all the Japanese releases. So just wanted to hit on that for the channel. Really cool to look forward to see what it's like as a global perspective of video games. And then we scroll through a few more of the articles they have here. Building data structures was, again, Smalltalk. Design principles behind Smalltalk. The Smalltalk 80 virtual machine allows a system to be transported easily using 16-bit microprocessor virtual machines. That's just crazy for 1981. And then control structures of the Smalltalk 80 system there. And then over on this side, we have, is the Smalltalk 80 system for children? It's not meant to be used by children because it's programs that allow them to be creative, but at the same time learn about programming. And then we also have an illustration for Smalltalk, and then virtual memory for object-oriented language, and nothing really based on video games, more just technical about this new object-oriented programming. But a cool look at what was in the computer world at the time in August of 1981. All right, so after BYTE magazine, our next game is Computer Quarterback. Again, for the Apple II, it's the Apple II night on Chronologically Gaming. Let's take a look at the artwork for Computer Quarterback. Oh, nice. So this is an SSI game. This is the quarterback version. We just had computer baseball, and now this is Computer Quarterback. Oh, and we got the back of the box for this one. This box contains $3 million for you to draft and coach any football team you like. Yes, so it's another strategy football game. It is not an action game where you're moving around the players, you're making decisions, and so it's usually a lot of grid or user interface that you have to look through, or mostly text. So they design Computer Quarterback as the ultimate football simulation game. This is the very first, the first 2 sports simulation games we've seen on the channel by Strategic Simulations Incorporated. And it looks like they got even computer eliminates their organizational drudgery and conventional of board games because it plays the scorekeeper, referee, umpire, and linesman. So these kinds of video games were popular as board games or games where you're playing statistics. So it is taking away all the numbers that you would have to crunch and work, and the computer's going to do the work for you, for the strategy aficionados. All right, so let's take a look at some more artwork for it. We also have the advertisement flyer. Wow, the advertisement flyer for Computer Quarterback. There it is, SSI. If you're thinking of this, you've got quite a nose for the best computer strategy football game around. Computer Quarterback. For the Apple and, this advertisement flyer for the Apple and Commodore 64. So this was a later advertisement flyer. And so Computer Quarterback, any other, yeah, there we go. We got the actual 5 1/4 floppy disk. The one we're going to be playing, is the 1981 by Dan Bunton. Way to go, Dan. Making the first strategy or tactical, no, not tactical, strategic football game we've ever played. All right, so let's pop it in. It is August 2nd, 1981, and this is Computer Quarterback for our Apple II. So just like before, I'm going to speed us up. We're cranking it up to 600 times the speed. And here we go. We're already at the beginning. There we go. Computer Quarterback by Dan Bunton. So this again plays off the original strategy sports games where they did these a long time ago, and now they're making them for the home computer that you can play. And we've seen this a few times on the channel where we want to play every video game we can, but there's some video games that were already made, or the idea of them already happened on the mainframe computer in the 50s and 60s. And so they just are taking the same idea or formula and then turning it into something that everyone could play on their home computer. And here you go. This is the latest. So this one we can do play against the computer or play a 2-player game or initialize a data disk. So let's choose... Oh, it looks like we have to have a data disk for this program before playing our first game. I don't believe we have a data disk. Let's see what happens if we try playing a 2-player game. Let's do number 2. If we try to play with 2 people, what happens? And do we need to speed it up again? There we go. We can select between semi-pro or professional. What type of game would you like? Oh man, they got lots of, so it's basically how much complexity do you want to play with? We'll try to professional and see what happens. How would you like to play a game with unique teams? It says beginners should answer no to play a simple game with standard teams. So we'll say no. The two players will now privately name their teams, assign play numbers, and check the game paddles. Oh, we can play. Left and right refer to the side of the computer on which player will be sitting. So you press space to continue. Left player, press any key when you're ready to start. So it's almost like a hot seat game. One person puts their team in, types it in, and the next person gets to go. So left player, press any key when you're ready to start. What name would you like for your team? Up to 9 letters. How about... we'll just say... Oh gosh, I forgot we're on super fast speed. Hold on. Slow us down. There we go. Go back. Can I delete all these? Oh, he's going to keep it like that. What would you like to... Okay, I did more than 9 letters, so it lets me do it again. So I'm just going to make up some teams. What's interesting is the computer baseball version allowed us to... allowed the game to have real-world teams on the MLB with... It looked like real-world players, so maybe computer quarterback didn't do that. All right, so let's try, just make up a team. The Jackets. There are 3 ways to assign play numbers. You have the computer assign them sequentially, and this is what you usually did for these kind of games that were in the 50s and 60s on mainframe computers. So we'll have the computer assign them sequentially. And you have a printer. You'd like to hard copy the play assignments. Okay, so yes, they are kind of incorporating still the printout or teletype way to play, how the original was. So you could print these out and let's see, do we want to print them out? No, we do not. All right, so offensive plays, there it is. You have 18 different options of what kind of plays you can have for your football team. And oh my, no, 36. Oh, that's why you would want to print them out. And then you have all the defensive plays. So you'd have to keep record of these. So that's why people would print them out. 31 different defensive plays too. And then now you press the left paddle button. So on the joystick, there we go. You turn the knob to the highest setting and press the button. And you can see here, this is me moving the paddle left and right. We're getting some artifacting on the screen, and that's sometimes that'll happen with the emulation. So we have trouble setting during 36. Press the button on 256 rather than that to the highest setting, and then press it. All right, so now it does the right player. Right player gets to set up their side. Ready to start. What would you like to name your team? The computers. And then same thing, we'll assign sequentially. So you can see it's lots of different menus to go through and options to make. And then once you get in the game, then you make the decisions. And then the game is going to look at the stats that you have for your team, decide the other team's stats, and then make a decision based on those two. So as far as how much control you have over the players, it's really not that much. It's more of a management kind of game. But one of the first, if not the first, that you could play on a home computer for yourself. All right, so we're not going to print off the plays, but here you go. There's all the different plays you can select. And with more modern games, at least after this was released, we now see why you have video games or sports games that allow you to have all these different plays for football games, and they get the idea from these. All right, so this is... Oh yeah, now it's going to go for the other one. So we couldn't get a demonstration game of what the football is played like, but it is the same idea as, or it's very similar to computer baseball. So again, for this one, it's very difficult to rate without diving in and playing for a very long time to get a feel for it. Of the very first strategy football game we've ever played, I'm going to do the same for now and do 2.5. This is another one of those that if someone brings this up or has played this in the past and knows how well or good this is, they'll always feel free to reach out to me and we reevaluate and we change the rating. Because it's so difficult to do this from the live show, going every game in order of release. All right, so after Computer Quarterback, what is our next game? Our next game is still on the Apple II. It is an Apple II night. It is Conflict 2500 by Microcomputer Games. Let's take a look at the artwork for Conflict 2500. Okay, this is one of the very first strategy games we've ever played, the company Avalon Hill. And for the back of the box, yes, this is used with a cassette tape. It's a challenging space game. Conflict 2500 is a radical departure from the typical first-generation one-ship Star Trek type games. In Conflict 2500, you have the option to set the scenarios, ranging from one-on-one competition against the computer to elaborate situations involving up to 10 people. The computer will play smart, acting out a variety of strategic actions to countermand your actions and strategy. Conflict 2500's variable scenario system gives you the option of playing a quick game, 20 minutes, or a long multi-ship game, 2 or more hours, allowing you to set up the game as easy or difficult to master as desired. So it takes place in the future. The year is 2500, and it's a galaxy, like controlling the whole galaxy game. You have a fleet of planet pulverizers. Oh, so you get to control or use strategically ships and coordinate a fleet of hyperfighters, protect your resources, planets and star bases, and you have a disposal up to 10 hyperfighters, annihilation mines, 10. So you get to choose how many bases you want to have, planet pulverizer positions. So it's a strategic simulation of conflict in the 26th century. That's what this one's going for. And we've seen a few others, not as many, but this scope of wanting to do a strategy game. And yes, the game box is saying they have a complete set of instructions for how to play. And there you go, the back of the box, if you had the 5 1/4 floppy disk. Nice. If you cashed out for the disk drive. And there you go, an example of the cassette tape for Conflict 2500. There we go. Oh, they give us the wrong disc on that one. There we go. And then we have a mock-up disc. All right, so let's pop it in and see what it's like. It's August 2nd, 1981, and this is Conflict 2500 for your Apple II. So like before, because of how it boots up, oh, it is coming up pretty quick. There you go, Microcomputer Games, a division of Avalon Hill. Yeah, there we go. So it's going to ask us first, what scenario? Okay, we have to develop what kind of scenario we want to play. And just like we saw before, it's going to be interesting to see a little glimpse of the game, but to really understand and play this, you saw on the back, you can play this for 2 hours. It's a very in-depth strategy game. So how many ships do we want to have? Let's do 5. And then how many computer ships? Let's give them 5 too. How many planets do you want to play with? Let's do 10. How many bases do you want? Let's do 5 bases. And it looks like it's going to be building this for us. And then do we want instructions? We'll say yes. Here are the tactical images of the ships and objects. So it's going to show us what we have. There's the space base. Does it go through? Oh, it is. It's going through. And then the planet pulverizer, just a few pixels. But here, I'll speed it up just a little bit. And then there's what the hyperfighter looks like. They're giving us a preview of everything else. The annihilation mine. And then the home planet. And then it must be the 200 megameters across, the directions. Oh, right. Wow. And this is used for firing and course changes. So here we go. When we start, it's using the grid base that we actually saw first for the Commodore PET, another game that was a global strategy or a space strategy game. And it's showing the full galactic map of Conflict 2500. So SSI, I would say, is the higher quality strategy game at this point. They're using hex-based grids like a board game. And so the game that we saw for Commodore PET and this one, see how they're using this as a column grid system? So you decide, I'm going to attack at F1 and you have to type that in. So you can see at the bottom it's asking, what ship commands do you want? Fire, dock, view, set, arm, change. And you make the decisions and you play the strategy game based on the decisions you pick. So it's another one of those games that would take a very, very long time to dive into, very complex, and it's also a genre that isn't super popular at this point. We already know that the arcade games that have been coming out, the video games, are huge. These are games that are based on what used to be on a mainframe computer or board game. All right, so for the time of everything else you could play and everything we've seen as far as strategy games for the home computer, this one still is using simple ideas. I'm going to go ahead and do, again, right down the middle average, 2.5 stars for Conflict 2500. All right, so after that, what is our next game? Our next game is another Apple II, Conglomerates Collide. Let's see what Conglomerates Collide is all about. There we go. This is by Rockroy. This looks like, if I'm thinking correctly on the Apple II, it's got to be a business simulation game, is my guess. Conglomerates Collide. There we go. Worlds. Yeah, maybe stock market. I'm not sure. All right, so for different versions, yep, it's by Rockroy in 81. Let's pop it in and see. It's August 4th, 1981. It is an Apple II kind of day. We're playing all the newest releases on our Apple II. And this is Conglomerates Collide. Like before, I'm going to speed us up. Rockroy presents Conglomerates Collide with house high-res graphics. Do you want instructions? Of course we do. Oh no, it went too fast. Go back. It already skipped past the thing I wanted to see about what it is. We'll restart and come back. I don't think there's a way you can actually go to the menu again and see the instructions all over again. All right, so again, we're fast forwarding way faster than you could have played it in 1981. Thanks, Bubsy. Appreciate it. For those that are really into business simulations, then this would definitely be for you. All right, yes. This is a game of corporate conquest in the world of conglomerates. Okay, so it's kind of what we were expecting. It is a simulation game or a strategy game of corporate conquest. So it looks like you have a $20 million asset initially. Each company is $10 million in cash, and then they have a stock value. So yeah, this is actually kind of a cool game if you enjoy messing with playing and pretending to be a business, at the head of a business. So that's what you would be. This was the kind of game you would be wanting to play at the time. And you get subsidiaries. Once the subsidiaries are acquired, the amount of fixed earning from that company is added to each turn, the base earnings of your conglomerate, and then you keep going until the stock gets higher and higher, or your stock gets higher and higher, and then a company whose current earnings exceed earned interest to $5 million will have a corresponding stock price of $25. Players buy and sell their own stock. Yeah, so it's also a stock trading game as well. The object of the game is to become chairman of the board by achieving the highest personal equity score through skillful management of your own company. A player's personal equity will always be equal to the number of shares still owned and controlled, multiplied by the stock price. The game ends when all companies have been acquired except in the solitaire version, which ends after the 15th turn cycle year. We wish you the best of luck as you enter the exciting world of finance and fortune. Thanks, Rockroy, even though you're probably just a company who doesn't care about me. All right, so let's stop the super fast speed and we'll go back to normal and see how well this loads, if it does. All right, so we want solitaire play. We can play with 4 different people, and competition, which, we play with a computer. Okay, we'll just do challenge to see what it starts off with. Don't hit reset, open the disk drive. Don't do it. While the disk drive is red, don't do it. It'll destroy the program on the disk. Okay, we won't. Got it. And we're speeding up again. There we go. How many will be playing? Oh, we can play with more people still for the solitaire mode. All right, we'll do 1. Number of player names. What's the player's first name? Oh, last person in chat was Bubsy, so Bubsy is it. Bubsy, you're player 1. It's your time to organize your corporation. Enter the full name of your corporation. Sweet. So yeah, it is a corporation simulation game where you get to buy and trade stock, make decisions, try to be the CEO of the company, and it's one of those kind of games. So if we were going to make the name of the corporation, let's make it Nintendo. Would you like to spend your tax-deductible vacations? Where is your corporate headquarters located? So you get to select where you're located. Let's do Honolulu. And then it shows the world financial status, what's happening across the globe, and then how many public companies unowned. Okay, so it shows us which companies we can buy too. Oh, nice. They have graphics for this too, with animation. President of Nintendo's arriving at the corporate headquarters. Bubsy's on the way. Well, thanks for coming. No problem if you're late. Well, you missed a few games. It's all been Apple II so far. It's an Apple II kind of night. So here we go for, this is Conglomerates Collide, and it's a business simulation game where we just picked the last person in chat, Bubsy, and his company's Nintendo. You get to make decisions. You can check the world status, your corporate status, acquire subsidiary, performance chart, and then you end your turn, and the game ends after, I think, 15 turns, but you make decisions on a business level. So if we looked at corporate status, this has really nice presentation. The way this looks, and we have graphics and animations well done for 1981 specifically. So you can see what your corporation looks like, and then you have you can acquire a subsidiary. What do we got? Oh, we get different companies. How about Zomax? Looks like Xerox. Can we buy Zomax? So you can't afford this company. Oh man, it's 10 million. I think that one cost. So that is, we can just do end our turn. And then it shows the world performance for the first year. Looks like it gives us the same. So showing it's now turn 2, and we really haven't. Our stock price is only 9. I think we had to get to the stock price of 25 to win. That's what it's been so far as the Apple II episode. That's Conglomerates Collide. That's actually pretty well done for the time. The way the user interface was, the ease of use. Now, we did fast forward a few times, but that's just to get a quicker experience for the live show. But at the time, if you were into it and you wanted to play it, you would have waited, and I know I would. So for this one, that one's pretty good. We're gonna go for a higher rating for how it's presented, and it's not doing something I'd say outside the range of. What's the best way to describe it? It's not giving us something so complicated like it's based on something from a mainframe computer or from a board game. It's really playing in more to playing something on a computer where you're not bombarded with stats and having to enter a lot of information. It's more making decisions. So we're going to go for 4 stars for that one, especially if you were a big fan of business simulation games. This would be the one. All right, so after Conglomerates Collide, our next game is another Apple II. It has been nothing but Apple II. This is Copts and Robbers for the Apple II. Let's take a look at the images for Copts and Robbers. What in the world is happening there? We're in an Egyptian setting. We have a ghost in the sky. This is by Eric Knopp and Alan Merrill. Oh, by Serious Software. Love Serious Software. I don't know what's going on. The guy needs to put a shirt on. He's in the middle of the desert, but he's getting treasure. Maybe that'll be us. This is Copts and Robbers. And there's the example of the disc. Yeah, they actually spelled it C-O-P-T-S. Looks like it's Apple II or Apple II Plus. And yeah, we have the fake disc and an example of the screenshot for it. All right, so for this one, no manual for this one. We're going to pop it in and see. Is August 4th, 1981. And this is Copts and Robbers. Or Copts and Robbers. All right, so we want to play Copts and Robbers. There we go, Alan Merrill and Eric Knopp. So for directions, we're moving left, right, A and Z. Okay, we can drop items with Z, and then Control C for any new options. Control R to start a new game. Let's see, I'm just checking speed. Oh, we can actually set speed. That's pretty cool. It says, find all 4 jewels, return to the vault room along with the vase. What level do you want? 1? Okay, we're here. I'm getting adventure vibes on the Atari 2600 right now. Does this work with a joystick? No, it does not. Maybe that's why they gave us keyboard controls. Okay, so here we go. I can move left and right. Yeah, it feels the same as the controls for adventure. All right, so I'm moving to the left, next room here. Let's see, can I move up and down? Got it. So it looks like I'm just looking for treasure as I move room to room. Oh, and I found, it looks like a key. Can I pick it up? I can walk over it, but it's not picking it up. Interesting, the controls to move left and right. If I tap left, it moves 1 space, but if I tap it again, then it moves all the way across the screen, and it doesn't stop until I go the opposite direction. So very bizarre controls for the time. Can I pick you up? Why won't you go? Why won't you? I'm picking up the button for drop, but it's not letting me do anything with it. If I had, let's try up here. Yeah, the controls are really strange. How you have to push one button and then you continue to the next screen. Yeah, you just keep going across. So it is like we're discovering a Egyptian tomb, or the maze feels similar to Adventure. But on the Atari 2600, it was a more impressive technical feat to make that happen. Okay, so this is really cool. I really want to make sure I get the controls right to pick something up. Let me see if I can go back. Yeah, let's try that again. Going back because I really want to make sure I can do this correctly. All right, so here we go. Let's try this again. This is Copts and Robbers. Oh, and this time it broke? No way. Hold on a second. I did the exact same command, and now it breaks on me? That's the home computer for you in 1981. As we've seen on the channel, and we're probably going to see that again. Okay, so waiting again. Just to be sure, we're going to go Copts and Robbers. Okay, it does work this time. Okay, now trying it again. Level 1. Level 1. Yes! Okay, we got it. All right, so Control C was options. Oh, nice. We can change the controls. Oh, okay. Space is how to drop things, and escape to exit. Okay, let's try it again. Here we go. We can also see if this game is changing the word. No, it's not. Okay, so it's not like a roguelike. It is the same map every single time. So if you played it again, you'd be able to figure it out. All right. Yes. No way. It's a total ripoff of Adventure. It made the same sound. And it's even dragging you along just like Adventure. But I'm telling you, the controls are not as smooth as Warren Robinette's on the Atari 2600. Alright, so it looks like it's saying that's the wrong... Oh, it's just dropped it. Okay, it only picks it up and drops it, but it's not able to... Let's see, pick up and drop items, and then... Let's see if we can go a different one. No, it's like I just have to move through the tomb to get it to work correctly, but it looks like it's not opening the tomb. Oh, it did. Okay, so it looks like some keys open for some things, and then other things do not open correctly for it. Yep, and I can pick up the ring and then go to the other side. All right, so if you were one of those kids in 1981 who did not have an Atari 2600, but you had... and you heard about Adventure, or one of your friends had Adventure, this would be a great alternative to playing Adventure. I will give it, it's not the same controls or as good at controls. It's a little bizarre that it has the push one button and then push it again and you go, like right now I'm not touching anything and it's moving. My hands are right here and it's moving up by itself and it just keeps going and going. All right, so this is a cool alternative if you didn't have Adventure for the Atari 2600. All right, let's see what this is. Does that do anything? It didn't give us a description of what the items do, but it does have different ones. No way. Is that? It's the magnet. This is awesome. So Copts and Robbers is an Adventure Atari 2600 clone. There's no way around it. That's the magnet from the Adventure games. So cool. So I'm intrigued, and it is not building every level like a roguelike. It's the same level every time. So I'm kind of intrigued. Oh, okay, it is looping. Well, Adventure did the same thing. But I'm intrigued to know how far this goes or what you can do and play. I know we need to find treasure. We did find one of the rings, and maybe we bring it back to a beginning place. Yeah, we don't have a manual or information on this one, but this is the kind of game I'd like to spend more time playing and seeing how far it goes or how much we have to explore. So we still have another key. Let's see if this key will open a different one. God, the controls are so weird. It's so bizarre. I move right, and then if I move right again, it goes to nonstop until I move left. Left, and then left again, then it moves nonstop until I move right. So I can't really give high praise for the controls. And the joystick did not work. This is only programmed for keyboard. All right, let's see if we can try this again. Okay, I got to do the top of the screen. I see. All right, I picked up something. Again, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm cursed by a jewel, but I'm not sure. But I love that. That is awesome. It is a knockoff of Adventure, no doubt about it, but never heard of this one, and that was pretty cool to play that for the time in 1981. Now, we didn't explore too far, because we're familiar with Adventure having the 3 different game modes, and they get larger, and I've seen all the maps for Adventure to know how many screens they have. How much is for Copts and Robbers? They did tell us that there was 4 treasures, so it may not be a huge world, but from what we've seen, and I do want to see more, this one is very good for the time. I'm going to go 4 stars. I'm not going to go any higher than that because of the play control. It's not using a joystick, and you're stuck with those weird keyboard controls. Yeah, it's... yeah, I like the last comment. It's a good point. All right, so we're going to do 4 stars for Copts and Robbers. Pleasant surprise. Pretty cool for the Apple II. All right, so after that game, what else could be next? It's still an Apple II. Amazing. Okay, so this is County Fair for the Apple II. And all these releases are probably in order just because I'm getting people that are helping me out with looking through magazines at the time and telling me this is when the release was and giving me some verified proof of when they were. And so some of the games that we're going to be playing at the end of the year where they don't have a definitive release date, it's just because they didn't get a lot of love. So if you're someone out there that is making a database of video games, or you want to have them showcased at the right point of the show, reach out to me and let me know when the release dates for these games are, and they'll be showcased here instead of at the end of the year when they were released at some time. They just need more love. These video games need some more love. All right, so here's the artwork for County Fair. Is County terrific? Pick up your gun and blast away in the most colorful, exciting shooting gallery in the world. This is the game everyone's crazy about. Sounds a lot like Carnival that we saw in the arcades. That everyone's crazy about. There we go, the 5 1/4 floppy disk, County Fair, by Dan Elowski, 1981. Way to go, Dan. And then, yep, with the screenshot, looks a lot like that arcade. Yeah, the arcade game Carnival. Yep. Chat's got it. Bubsy's on it. All right, so let's pop it in and see. No manual. We're just going to go for it. It's August 8th, 1981, and this is County Fair for your Apple II. We're playing all the newest releases for the Apple II here on Chronologically Gaming. Crazy that it's all Apple II. It sounds really, really loud, but the sound that's happening, I enjoy the sound for the Apple II. It reminds me of early DOS games. All right, so does it work with a joystick? Ooh, I think it does. It does. Okay, so cool. So the Apple joystick works for this. Yes, it's totally Carnival. It even has the top screen similar to it. Way larger sprites even than the arcade going across the screen. I don't even know if they're sprites. They may be something for the background layer, but yeah, you can see they're animated differently. But they're a lot larger than what we saw in the arcade. Oh, and can we slip through the back and get some shots in? But it's a gallery shooter. I think one of the ducks made it to the bottom. I don't know if that means I win or lose. Nice. We can squeeze through that small hole in the top and get some extra shots in. There we go. Nice. So it is going for score and adding up total of points. I didn't get any extra points for hitting the ones in the back. Or is it the same one? Oh, I think they're 5 then each. Let's see. Oh, yeah, nice. So you do get some bonus for the back ones. Come on. Oh, just missed it. Yeah, the play control feels really good for the Apple II. It's using the Atari joystick. Game over. Did I do something wrong to get game over? But it's totally Carnival in the arcade. So it's the Apple II port of Carnival, or really close enough to Carnival. And it appears this is the only game mode. But if you want to get some good shooting gallery in, yeah, it is. The ducks are coming down, and they're going to take some, yeah, they're trying to destroy. No! Yeah, there we go. They're flying down close. So it's almost like they're giving the ducks some Galaxian vibes. I don't even know if I want to say Galaxian, because that gives the game too much credit. But you can see they're just changing formation and flying down lower. I'd say maybe Space Invaders. So they're doing something a little different than Carnival, which is so fun when you see ports where people aren't doing exactly a one-to-one of the arcade. Makes it more fun that way. There we go. County Fair or County Carnival for Apple II. That is another great pick-up-and-play game. Works fantastic. Very average for the time. I'm not going to really give it high marks for what it's done, but 3 stars is around what we see because it's only one game mode. It does play well, though, and looks good for the Apple II. So I'm going to go 3 stars. Yeah, it did with the ducks and the little pink animals. It's because we're trying to get, the fluffy animal for the kids. That's what it is. At the County Fair. All right, so a perfectly average game for the Apple II, County Fair. What is our next release? All right, here we go. We heard about it in Atari Computing and the Analog Computing Game magazine. This is Crush, Crumble, and Chomp for the Apple II. This one looks like early Rampage, maybe? Let's take a look at the artwork for Crush, Crumble, and Chomp. Nice. Yes, I really hope we get to play as the giant Godzilla. The movie monster game. Wreak havoc. Spread mayhem and destruction as your favorite monster. And it's by Epix. Awesome. Crush, Crumble, and Chomp. And there's the example of the screenshot. Not really sure what's happening there. And we do not have a manual again for this one for the Apple II. But let's pop it in and see. It is August 5th, 1981. And this is Crush, Crumble, and Chomp for the Apple II. Another cracked game that we can play it. A lot of these were still had copyright protection or ways that you couldn't play it unless you had the legitimate copy. But they're all open source and available to everybody now. Because no one wants to play anything on Apple II except here on Chronologically Gaming. Crush, Crumble, and Chomp, the movie monster game. Automated Simulations. Wait, okay, maybe Epix was the publisher, and Automated Simulations is the developer. Do you want to restore a game in progress? No, this is our very first time. How fast do we want this game? Well, yeah, 5 years way before, but I don't think it's going to play the same as that. We'll see. So speed, do we want fast or slow? We'll try fast. Do you want to play one of the feature creatures? Or do you want to grow your own? No way. Now, just for curiosity's sake, I want to see what happens when we grow our own. Select a carcass. Oh, this is awesome. You get to make a monster? We can have a biped, a sea monster, insect, amorphous, a robot, a flyer, a brontosaur, or a serpent. So the brontosaur must have been the one on the front of the box. But building your own monster is awesome. I want to do like a kraken, so let's do sea monster. Sea monster. And right now it's loading. We're not on fast forward right now. You have 120 crunch credits left. Do you want to breathe fire? The cost is 20 crunch credits. Oh man, this is so cool. So we're building and designing our own monster similar to a role-playing game that we play on Apple II. Do we want to breathe fire? Yes. We have 150 crunch credits left. Do you want to obliterate? It's only 10. Sure, yeah, we want to obliterate. Do you want to atomize? It costs us 20. Yeah, we do. Do you want to paralyze? Yes, we have 120. I'm just going to say yes. Do you want an ultrasonic scream? Yes, we do. Like Dino Wars for the Coco with an ultrasonic scream. Do you want a tail to lash? It's only 5. Yes. Do you want to crush and crumble? Of course we do. It's the name of the game. Yes, we do. Do you want to zap helicopters? Yes. You have the degree to which your monster regenerates damage. So we can actually regenerate. That's cool. It costs 120 crunch credits to regenerate a whole bunch. So let's just do a little bit and spend 12 on that one. You have 55 crunch credits left. We are, you can get W for weak. You get 15 crunch credits back, normal or strong. I guess that means our strength. Okay, so I'll pay. We want to be a strong monster, sure. You have 40 crunch credits left. How thick is your hide? We'll say thin. We're a sea monster, so we don't want to spend that much anyway. So we got 25 crunch credits. What will your monster's name in characters be? Oh, we're going to call it Kraken. We are the Kraken. So customize summary. It gives us a code that we probably type in to play our monster again. So everybody write down that code and don't forget it. And then hit any key to continue. All right, so enter the objective number. You can be a balance, killer, combat, destruction, or survival. So this is great. Not only are we building a monster, we have the option to, or we could have picked the ones that came with the game. And then we have different ways we can play. This was advertised in Atari Connection or Atari Analog. One of the two magazines told us about this game. So already off the bat, I'm already amazed. As a kid in 1981, about to play the game, I'm already excited. So let's do destruction. And then which city do we want to destroy? Oh, here we go. Let's destroy Tokyo. The Kraken is going to destroy Tokyo in Crush, Crumble, and Chomp. This is our first time playing or trying out Crush, Crumble, and Chomp for the Apple II. Yes, they are. I'm amazed as well. Because they're using the user interface they have for adding complexity. And it's such a cool way to do it. Might need a fast forward. I bet it's building everything for us. We just put a bunch of information in. It's pushing our Apple II too hard. Okay, there we go. It's building and it's building it now. We have the scene in front of us, and it looks like there's our picture of us. Let me move myself over to the other side. There we go. You can see me over in the bottom right corner. And can we move with the joystick? Let's see. Looks like wind's heading east. We're healthy, and it's giving us stats. So it's almost like a strategy game that we're playing, but not getting any response from the joystick, or we're moving really slow from the joystick. I can't tell. Let's try keyboard controls then. Oh, I see. Okay, so it's looking for commands to go, and it's doing similar to a role-playing game, where if you look over on the bottom left, there's a question mark, and every time I type something, that is telling us what we typed in. Similar to Dungeon Quest or Temple of Apshai. So it needs to know which commands to go to move the Kraken where we want to go. What about C? Does C do anything? Yeah, so you'd have to know the commands to do it. So we don't have the Apple II manual. But have no fear, this game was released for several home computers, and we do have manuals for those games. So for the Apple II version of Crush, Crumble, and Chomp, we do not have the commands we can type in, but we will have the commands for the other releases, unless I just start mashing things on the keyboard to figure it out. But it's not a direct action game. It's where I'm making decisions. I bet if I try south, what happens? Does it move south? It didn't look like it did. What about north? So I'm just trying what I would expect from a role-playing game, but it's going to be too difficult without the manual. But that was the example of what it would be like to play Crush, Crumble, and Chomp. If we had the manual, we'd be able to know which commands to type. It does sound like an air horn, yes. All right, so for this one, I know we didn't get to move the monster around, but still very cool for the time. I'm still going to give this one a higher rating, and I want to play more of it because the more and more I get into this, I end up finding manuals online or examples of how to play it. There's always a way you can look up to find more information on these games. So for Crush, Crumble, and Chomp, that's still really, really fun. It is... I'm going to say for the idea and creativity, it's new and different. It's using similar formula though with the strategy game where we weren't like using a joystick to move the monster around. It was based on keyboard commands. So because of that, I'm not going to go any higher than 4 stars, but still excellent and really fun to play for the Apple II. That was our first time playing Crush, Crumble, and Chomp. All right, so after that, we have time for one more game. The Curse of Crowley Manor. Also for the Apple II. It's been nothing but Apple II. Amazing. All right, so here's the artwork for The Curse of Crowley Manor, a text adventure. And this is not the same as... Yeah, this is not the same as Online Systems. This is by NEC Trek. NEC Trek, which is a Japanese company. Yes, for the... Or this, at least this box looks like it's for the PC 6001. Which may not be the right box for Apple II, or maybe it was just released in for Apple II and the PC 6001. So there you go, The Curse of Crowley Manor. By Adventure, it's by Adventure International. Okay, so Adventure International also had releases in Japan, so it makes sense that the only box they could find maybe was the one from the Japanese. And this is the Apple 5 1/4 floppy disk. And an artwork of The Curse of Crowley Manor. Looks like it's a graphic adventure game. Sweet. All right, let's pop it in and play. It's August 5th, 1981, and it's an Apple kind of day because we're playing the newest Apple release, The Curse of Crowley Manor. The newest graphic adventure game. Courtesy of those friends of yours and mine and Nameless Adventures, the Too Sweet Love... Oh, I get to finish reading. Apple Other Ventures #2 by Jim Pearson and Norm Saylor. All right, so yeah, The Curse of Crowley Manor. Do you wish to read the instructions? Yep. This new format in adventure games comes from Adventure International. It represents the state-of-the-art in graphic adventure games. The dynamic changes with high-res graphics combined with accents of sound provide psychological realism never seen before. The adventure will strike you with breathtaking graphics and the plot quality of a fine novel. The format of the game is a giant step forward in adventure design and provides the large informational capability of a text adventure along with full high-res graphics. That's right, high-res graphics. The return key is used to toggle between text and high-res mode. When in high-res mode, inputs can be entered directly since the screen will flip to text automatically with any key press. The game knows many varied commands and inputs. Entire sentences can be used as well as simple two-word commands. A powerful machine language parser extracts the keywords from the sentence for processing. I really hope it's more complicated than what we saw with the like Adventureland and The Count and other ones by Scott Adams. Oh, you do? Lucifer's... That's so interesting. All right, so the comments, load game or save game can be used anytime during the play in order to preserve saves. So I want to see if this is a better text parser. It's only still a two-word text parser. All right, so movement is accomplished by entering the first letter only of the direction you want to move, north, south, east, and west. You can also use climb to go upstairs or passages, and look can be in a room to give more detailed descriptions. Finally, can we actually use look? I thought we could use it in the other online adventure games, but it didn't work. It also says we can use anything including your inventory can be examined by entering look and exact full name, just as it appears in the inventory column. And then drop and get can bring your items to 6. Okay, this is a more advanced one. I want to see how well the text parser works for us. And then visible items or objects are not supported by high-res drawings. This increases the speed of the game by eliminating unneeded disk access and maintains higher standard for the artwork. That's what they actually put. They said, some of the items or objects may not be in the high-res drawings, just so you know. And here's why. Remember to look at anything and everything. The game is dynamic and things can change dramatically at any time. Keep your eyes and ears open, and good luck. To optimize the 108 colors used in the game, adjust your monitor to match the color bars as shown next. Cool. First time we've had any video game tell us to optimize your screen to get the best color. You see the program from the author's view just as they saw it during its birth. So use the tint and color controls on your monitor to adjust it. So cool. First time we've ever seen. Look at this. Red, brown, blue, green. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. Brown looks like orange right now. The only options I have for adjusting our monitor are black and white or color for the Apple II. All right, so The Curse of Crowley Manor by Jim Pearson and Norm Saylor. Courtesy of those sweet, lovable guys, the adventurers. So the first time checking out this game, already off the bat, if I was in 1981 and I had booted this up and read those instructions, I'd be so excited. This is the newest high-res adventure game to play. And do I need to fast forward? I don't want to hit anything wrong and then something breaks. Okay, here we go. We're in a large office, a large windows here, and some rosewood furniture. So you saw it drew the whole screen, and then after that it went to the text mode after that. All right, so visible items. We have nothing. And it shows our inventory right here. We have a revolver, 50 shillings, and an ID card. So if we just do look, what does it say? And it shows the high-res picture. We have a calendar and nameplate on the desk. A closed door is east. So if we do... Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, it went from the high-res screen, the full screen, and then as soon as I typed, it went to this screen. So if we do open door, you can't open it. What? If that's the only way out, then that means the key must be look desk. It appears to be an ordinary calendar nameplate on the desk. A closed door is to the east. So get nameplate? It's not a visible... What? It's not a visible item? So look again. Oh, a telephone rings on the desk. Answer? Telephone? A voice says, "This is Officer Strahd. Come to the Crowley estate now. There's been a murder." A murder? And you know what? We're going to play this one again. We only played just a little bit, but I'm kind of excited to get a little bit more out of it. Not too much, but a little bit more out of the Curse of Crowley Manor. But we're now at time, so with that, we'll have to put our quest playing every video game on pause. This was the Apple kind of night. I can't believe how many Apple games we had back to back to back to back. I can't think of any other platform we played that had that many back to back. But so cool. We're going to play a little bit more of the Curse of Crowley Manor and check out the murder next time. Until then, keep gaming and we'll see you then. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we miss any games along the way. This video would not be possible without RetroArch and Launchbox. Please tell your friends there's some crazy guy out there trying to play every single video game. You can always check out Chronologically Gaming on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We will catch you next time.